All right, so let's walk through how we are managing sessions in Odoo. The main two things that we implemented was a session timeout after a user is idle. So the way that we will manage idle timeouts is inside of the settings. So we'll go to settings, and then if we search for idle, you'll see that come up under this permissions. So I'm going to show you what this permissions group looks like. I would search personally for permissions, although it's less intuitive. This shows you all of your password resets, your API keys, access rights. This is kind of your login permissions settings is what this is. And you'll notice that the idle logout in minutes is placed here. So inactive sessions are terminated for all users, internal and portal, enforced every 5 minutes by the session GC cron. So a scheduled action runs every 5 minutes and cleans up any sessions that have been inactive for longer than this number of minutes that we fill in here. So that's currently set to 30. I will leave that there. The other thing that we implemented was a way to enforce two-factor authentication so that users have to use two-factor authentication, and then also a way for you to set expirations on those authentications so that after X number of days, they will have to redo their two-factor authentication. So if we check this box to enforce two-factor authentication, you'll see a couple options pop up. We can enforce this only on employees, which is internal users in Odoo, or all users, which would include your portal users. This means that anytime a customer wants to log in to pay for a quotation or to view one, they will have to do a two-factor authentication process, and that two-factor authentication will expire after this number of days. So I'm going to leave it as employees only for now, um, and then I'll save this. So once that is saved, you'll notice I am still logged in. So that setting will not enforce this until the next login for any of your active users, which is nice because then not everyone gets logged out at the same time. Uh, so next time I get logged out, right, maybe I'm inactive for 35 minutes, so I get logged out, I will come in and log in. I'll enter my password just like normal, but when I click log in, this will force me to do a two-factor authentication. So here it will send me an email, and if I come into your email server real quick and refresh, we will see an email come through for a two-factor authentication code that looks like this. So now we can grab this code, we can paste this in, and then I will say don't ask again on this device. This right here is the remember this device checkbox, and that is what will expire after the number of days set in the settings. So if I mark this box, then for 30 days, I won't have to redo this 2FA. If I don't check this box, then the next time I log in, I will have to redo this 2FA. So that's how that works. When I hit login, this is going to let me in just like normal. One setting I would like to point out here is that two-factor authentication in Odoo can be done one of two ways. It can either be an emailed code, which is a little bit more prone to phishing, or it can be a authenticator app. So if I come up here and I click on my icon and then my preferences, and then go to the security tab on my user, you'll notice this authenticator app setting here, right? So you are currently receiving 2FA codes via email at login. Setting up an authenticator app above replaces email codes with faster phishing resistant rolling code. So what this does is basically allows you to set up an authenticator app as your 2FA rather than the built-in emailing two-factor authentication. So because I hadn't already set up my 2F or my authenticator app, it just sent me an email rather than attempting to set up the authenticator app during login. So if you want your users to all have the authenticator app rather than email, they will need to come into their user, into the security tab and set up an authenticator app. And then they will be able to log in and they will use the authenticator app as their 2FA method. So that is how our session timeout works. If you have any questions, let me know.